Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Sagittarius. If Sagittarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. Okay, and let's see, what do these tea leaves have to say? And so we have, for the card tonight, the Knight of Swords. This is a card that has a lot to do with intelligence, activity, kind of longing for knowledge. Really, with the swords, it's all about that sharp mind. And so it seems this is going to be possibly about, and I want to start right here. We have a person holding what looks like an apple. Okay, so the apple is the knowledge. Okay, this is also good health. But I think in this case, the apple has to do with that desire to further education, to maybe expand your skill set. Maybe you are thinking about going back to school formally, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that. It could be that you are a person who is kind of ever learning. You like to read, you like to take classes, go to seminars and lectures, educational retreats, all kinds of things out there to do, right? Maybe you like to watch YouTube and learn how to do new things. That's kind of my speed, is looking things up I want to learn, following along on YouTube and figuring it out, right? So your mind is really sharp. You have, just very clever, very able. Okay, so this looks like a very confident posture, standing straight up, holding the apple out, ready to, kind of partake in that, in the biting of the apple. and that's kind of biblical imagery, but this isn't about carnal knowledge. This is about learning new things. So let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, and this one is really interesting as well. We have a person standing there holding something that looks like a key, and it looks like that there is like a keyhole for them. So they are holding the... Okay, so there are some cuts in this video. If any of you watch the channel, you know that my cats love to come in and, well, anyways, the big one is shedding, and he... when he's shedding, he gets up here, he gets hair all over me. So unfortunately, Pudgy has been banished from jumping up here and getting in the middle, but he kind of snuck his way in, so we had to cut. Now, back to the symbol. We have a person holding what looks like a key, and then we have a keyhole here. So I really do think that you have kind of that... the magical key that you are looking for. So it makes me think that you already kind of have an idea of what you will be doing for the schooling. Maybe you are already enrolled. Maybe you've been kind of eyeing a certain course. I like to mention sometimes on here, if you live in an area that has like community education, which isn't necessarily like community college or junior college, which is kind of like a smaller local college, not a university. There's also community college or community classes, right? And these are classes that you can take. They teach all kinds of things. Not just, I know a lot of people think of them as being for like kids. They have a lot of, you know, camps and different kinds of classes for them to take for free and stuff. But they also have things for adults like writing classes and cooking classes and, you know, kinds of things where they kind of facilitate people meeting new community members that have similar interests, which is always kind of cool. So this might be a good idea. Or the other thing that comes to mind is on the internet, there are a lot of online courses that big universities, even like Ivy League schools, they have free college courses that you can take. And you just kind of have to look up, you know, like maybe like free college whatever courses, and they put out like just random stuff that you can do. And so that's really a wonderful resource if you are not planning on going all the way back to school, but you kind of just want to take some things for your own self-development. Okay, let's see, what else do we have? We have a beautiful flower here, right in that kind of spiritual zone. And, you know, that makes sense that you are really in a... Here he comes again, this guy. Come on, Taji. All the way down. Come on, baby. Go on. Get your butt out of the camera, please. Okay, sit down. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to try to do this with him on my lap a little bit here. Just go on. It's not going to work. Okay, so we have the flower in this kind of spiritual zone. And I think that, you know, the universe is really just providing you, along with your own hard self-work, providing you with the motivation to really be, you know, wanting to learn, wanting to further your abilities, just interested in life. That's such a gift. And that's really what keeps us going, I think, in a meaningful way, is when we stay interested in learning about the world, learning about ourselves, learning about, you know, I mean, if you really think about it, there's just endless things to explore. You know, of course, once in a while I'll get bored, but I always kind of laugh at the idea of being bored, only because we live in a time where we have access to, you know, basically the libraries of Alexandria, right? These extensive, endless, you know, just archives of books and texts and media and all kinds of stuff. I mean, anything you can imagine, you can get on there and find. I remember when I was a kid and we had, like, you know, the first computer hooked up to the internet, and just going online, which the internet was different back then, of course, but going online and typing in, you know, whatever on, I think it was like Netscape or whatever the thing was back then, and you know, just having this amazing wonder of what could, you know, what am I going to look at today? So, you know, I think that if we can find that again and again and again in ourselves, we live very rich lives. And I think that you are kind of in that place with yourself constantly. And that really proves to be a life that is very vibrant, right? Okay, so we have a 7. A lot of 7s this last few months. I mean, it just seems to be all the time. We have a little bird here. Okay, and this one looks like it's kind of sitting, kind of facing like it's looking down a little bit. And then, well, and then I think this is like a little bird, a little, you know, maybe a sparrow or a little finch or something like that. And, or a chickadee. Those ones are really cute too. And so this is kind of these beautiful little birds that get lost in, you know, the environment. They blend in so well, and they're so sassy. When there's part of my, part of our little garden out there that I have to go next to a big honeysuckle bushes, and there's a whole bunch of all these little birds in there. They nest in there and they roost in there or whatever. And when I come too close, they just go wild, all of them. They just have so much to say to me. And, you know, I always say, I'm sorry, I'm just here to, you know, put some water. I put a bird bath over there to kind of, you know, make a little offering of, sorry I have to disturb you. But I think that, you know, this is, you like to be doing your own thing, maybe go fairly unnoticed. And, you know, when you get disturbed, you can get a little sassy, and that's okay. But I feel like you just really are so, you get just so focused on the things that you're doing. And right now you are really into this idea of doing whatever kind of training or class, or maybe even starting school all over again, or, you know, maybe for the first time. And that's such a wonderful thing. Now we have a seahorse. And you know what is so funny is, and I just hit that, sorry. But yesterday, I think yesterday, I had a seahorse in one of my other readings. And so the seahorse to me is just such a cute, and not unlike the chickadee or the finch really, something that is kind of delicate, but also, you know, so adapted to surviving, and also kind of very much in the same little social bunching, you know, kind of being one, like one of the crowd, right? But not having to stand out too much. I think of when the little seahorses, they wrap their little tails around a little piece of, you know, whatever is growing there. And they kind of all line up the side of it, and they just, you know, are all, they have their tails wrapped up, and I think that they sleep that way because the current seems to sometimes like blow them around, and so they don't kind of float away. They're anchored, you know. So I feel like there's this real sense of being kind of anchored within your close community relationships, maybe at work, maybe in the family, your neighborhood, these kinds of things. Maybe that it's not that you're super social, but just being among people you're familiar with, even passively, that kind of feels safe and nice to you, keeps you feeling part of the world. And that's a wonderful thing too. You know, it's good to get to kind of know the people, at least by sight, right? Let's see. It looks like we have a person standing here. It looks like we have a moon and almost a cloud maybe, and it seems like they're wearing a robe or a dress and it's being blown. So it looks like some kind of minor storm maybe coming in. And I see a person kind of over here in the sky, almost like they're like flying through the sky a bit. It looks like two snails down here. So I kind of get the scene of somebody kind of coming in for a visit. It might stir things up a little bit. I think you're kind of like to take things slow a bit. And I wonder if this is, you know, if you have a child or your partner and you both are just kind of on the same wavelength. And when you have a visitor that comes into your private space, it can kind of cause these like anxieties, emotional storms. Maybe there are strained family dynamics. But I don't think that this is going to be anything too, you know, anything too crazy. I think it's just kind of a, you know, just really, we have to kind of do this, and it gets a little bit, everybody a little bit riled up, right? Out of the normal routine and just kind of having to deal with some things that are, I'd rather not, but we will, right? Let's see, what do we have here? Oh, nice. Okay. So we have a beautiful butterfly here. And here's the body, and here are the wings. Okay. And so, of course, the butterfly, we always, you know, relate this to the metamorphosis, the changing, the evolution. I think that this is really a time where you are finding a lot of confidence in your abilities. I think that when you have a purpose that is self-created, you really flourish. So I think that this is really a wonderful, wonderful thing for you to be kind of embarking on. And, you know, I'm really excited for you. And I'd love to hear if you know, what you're doing or what you have thought about doing as far as kind of taking a class, or maybe you're reading some new books, or you know, whatever, have a new hobby, and you're learning through that. I would love to hear about it. There are plenty of things that I have seen in the comments here that I've read, that I go look it up and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna learn about that. And so I really do love hearing about what you all are interested in, and so appreciative when you do share. Okay, so let's check out, what do we have going on over here? Okay, so I feel like I'm seeing a fish that's like jumped out of water. So almost kind of like this sense of a fish out of water, but also kind of gaining perspective. It's not like you got washed up on the shore during the tide, but more like jumping out of the water to see for yourself what all there is. And so this is really kind of a wonderful feeling of pushing your comfort level out a little bit, going out of that comfort zone, and seeing what's out there, you know, seeing what kinds of things that you could maybe start working on, maybe new kinds of career paths, or you know, another job, or whatever it is that you are looking for within this kind of education forward mindset that you're in. And so I want to go ahead and thank you. Keeping an eye on this cat, you just came trotting in. I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me. I'm always so honored to be able to bring these messages to you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps us get into the algorithm, and we are growing this channel one person at a time, and we are doing so great. I can't say enough how much I just love being able to interact with you all, get to know some of you. You know, if you haven't subscribed, think about doing it. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. You can watch, you know, aside from your solar placement, you can watch your other placements. I read every sign once a week. And, you know, if you want to comment, I read every single one of them, and I know sometimes it takes me a day or two to get back, but I really do love when I get a moment to really like sit and read everything and take it in and try to formulate something thoughtful to say. You know, it's a little hectic sometimes with a toddler, but you know, I do my best. And I know that all of you are so generous with your time and sharing, and I can't tell you how many times I've gotten pretty misty reading some of the comments and stuff. And so, yeah, I just thank you so much, Sagittarius, and we will talk again really soon.